Well, Buckeyes fans, fresh off of a nice 35-7 victory last night in the Horseshoe, Ohio State jumps back into the film room today, and we'll do the same, bringing you a film room episode on the Buckeye Breakdown Podcast.
We've got the whole crew together as we cover Ohio State with our instant analysis from Ohio State.
There's something that doesn't feel right.
Unbelievable effort from him today. Is E.J. Liddell going to crack the first team All Big Ten?
I think he can be the guy. I'm not trying to start a quarterback controversy.
He seems to have the durability. He certainly has the toughness. This is the question on a lot of people's minds here. Welcome to Buckeye Breakdown.
Well, welcome in, everybody, and good morning to another episode of the Buckeye Breakdown Podcast, fresh off of a really nice and convincing 35-7 victory. Anthony Moeglin here alongside my partner, Kevin Woidke. And Kevin, didn't even tell you I was going to do this to start, but one thing we didn't touch on yesterday while we were in our post-game show was, holy cow, college football yesterday was drunk, man. That was insane. Alabama goes down. Tennessee goes down. Everybody had to have fallen asleep. I know I did. Miami needed 21 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to come back and beat Cal. It was bonkers yesterday.
It really was. I went to bed after the Tennessee game. I mean, that game, backup quarterback coming in and just dotting him up. And then Nico looking inexperienced, and I don't even know how else to say it. They played great defense, but when you got to throw that ball up at the end and give your wide receiver a chance to make a play, because it just kind of ran out of bounds. For you got a first down. I mean,
he moved the sticks.
Points maybe, I don't know. But yeah,
it was awesome. It was a game. It was a week that didn't have the best matchups. I'd say there was a lot of double-digit spreads. We had one down in Columbus, but again, for the sixth week in a row, you just never know. That's why we always talk about, hey, you got to show up, and the guys on our side at Ohio State have a very good mindset kind of around what they're doing and making sure that they don't overlook people. I know there's a lot of questions yesterday in the post-game press room of like, how did you guys stay focused on Iowa with Oregon looming next week? And the guys were great about it. They're like, yeah, that game next week wouldn't mean anything if they fell to Iowa or if they stubbed their toe. And like for Ohio State, it's not about just one matchup coming down the road. It's about being a great team week in and week out. So yesterday, another great example. The Alabama one was out of control with them going down to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, I mean, holy cow, they may have 8 wins this year. That one was nuts, man.
They look great. And I mean, Alabama had rat traps all over their facility, and they let that leak. Like, I get it if you keep it in house, but I mean, that's just a recipe for disaster. I mean, one, you can't, what you don't say to someone is don't fumble, because the last words they hear is fumble.
Yeah.
That's why you don't say, don't let this be a rat trap game. Well, guess what? It was a rat trap game. Congratulations. Everything you wanted to do is out the window.
Yeah, it's out there now. So we'll see when the new AP poll drops later today, how that all shakes out. But there's going to be a lot of one-loss teams, definitely in the top 10, and certainly within the top 15. So we'll see how that shakes out. But for Ohio State, nice victory yesterday. It was a little sluggish start, but, we continue to say it. They never felt like the game was in trouble. So, you guys aren't here to listen to us kind of yap about other college football. We'll jump into the tape here, because there was a lot of good from yesterday. But one of the things, Kevin, that really stood out to me, and we'll see a bunch of clips of it, is I was, at least in the first half, their ability to convert on third down. And like I said, I never felt like Ohio State was in danger of losing this game, but Iowa did a really nice job in the first half of like shrinking the game. Ohio State ended up with like 4 possessions in the first half. One went for a long touchdown. You had a fumble, you had an interception, you had a fourth down that you didn't get. So you had 3 turnovers in that first half, and 1 touchdown drive. That results in a 7-0 lead, but it was hard to kind of get rhythm. And you see it here, a really nice start. This is the first drive of the game. First third down of the game, and you're going to see some nice throws by Cade McNamara. But this route concept here is one that we see Ohio State run often, where and a lot of teams run often. You're going to use motion with this slot guy to determine, hey, are we getting man or zone? Does anybody follow with him? And you can very clearly see that nobody follows the motion man. So you're getting zone coverage, which this route is called. I used to call it tornado, where you You bring a guy like this low, and then you bring two guys that pick across the field like this. This guy will get set here, and they'll try to pick the guy in man coverage. However, when there's no man, right, you get a zone look, and everyone just trades it off. Unfortunately, here Sonny gets his shoulders turned right. You'll see it right there. Once he gets his shoulders turned like this, he's gonna lose leverage on this guy right here. And a nice job standing in the pocket, converting on third down from Iowa to move the sticks. And for Ohio State, that's just one where it's like, hey, Sonny, the fix is very easy. Just stay in your zone, pass this thing off right here, pass it off, and then when something leaves. When one guy leaves, there's a guy always coming back. But nice conversion to start the game for Iowa, just to move the sticks.
Yeah, you got to make sure you get that. You got to get that ball out quickly. You can see JTT right there. I mean, maybe a fraction of a second later, that's an intercept. That's a fumble.
Yeah,
or at least a quarterback hitting an incompletion. Because look at him, he's right there.
And there's his hand right there. Like, even a second's generous, man. Even if he just gets even just a touch more reach, he's going to knock that ball out. But we're going to see this pass rush. And Coach Day talked about it and in the post game. He's like, yeah, everyone talks about the sack numbers for defensive linemen. And he goes, in a game like this against Iowa, it's really hard to do that because all they do is run the football. Right? This is a really hard game. They don't drop back much, and they're just going to run it. And then when they do drop back, it's real quick. For Ohio State, and we'll see it in the second half, to come out and really wreak havoc up front, I thought was really impressive. So, again, another third down here. I put this one in, Kevin, for your viewing pleasures here, because this was a missed opportunity. You see K bouncing around, good pressure up front, and Iowa does a really nice job actually kind of protecting it. This guy here, we don't have the all 22 view, but our receiver, Iowa's receiver right here, you'll see it right there, had about 5 yards of separation from Denzel Burke. And on Saturday when he broke the pocket, he was 10 yards open. And it was like, all he's got to do is flick it out there and he's got an easy touchdown. However, this one's for you, man. He just kind of spikes it and doesn't get it all the way out there.
Well, I mean, if you go back, there's two things I want to touch on. At the beginning of the play, watch this left tackle punch JTT. If you want to know how to stop somebody, that's how you do it. Like when he's just two hands right to the chest, JTT is boom, throw him. Like, see, he's out of it. Now he's out of it. Like, that's the easiest way to stop someone like him. That's an unbelievable pass set. Great feet, great movement. And then here comes, I mean, it's like he was standing in a boat and throwing a football into the ocean, and somehow it landed back in the boat. I don't know how you missed that throw. You've started quarterback at the college level for this long. How do you miss that throw? That's crazy.
I remember watching it, and it was nothing that Denzel did. It was just when these plays get broken like this, it's really, really challenging for defensive backs. And we've seen it all the time. You actually see a lot of DBs get holding penalties in these types of situations because sometimes they have no idea where the quarterback is and the receiver's got eyes on it. So sometimes they just grab on because they don't want to give up a massive play. Denzel just kind of gets turned around. Nothing that he could have done any better or any worse, but just a missed opportunity for Iowa to kind of take the top off here early on. So they end up punting, getting it back to Ohio State. And Ohio State puts it together a fantastic drive. First time, I said it last night, first time in the last 27 games for Iowa that they gave up an opening drive touchdown, dating back all the way to 2022. So how do we get it started? Travian Henderson sets the tone. Watch the finish to this run, man. That's physical. Everyone talked about, Iowa's physical. First offensive play for Ohio State, or first drive. Travian delivers a punch here.
The one thing I noticed about this defensive line, though, all day is there wasn't a whole lot of movement from the offensive line. I mean, they got them to the first down mark, but look at that. There's not people getting past 2 yards. The offensive line, and then Donovan Jackson tries to sneak out at the end, but he's stuck in that. I mean, their defensive line played great yesterday. That's the only way to put it. I think that I noticed that multiple times. This was one example of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And too, when you have a running quarterback like Ohio State does, or a quarterback that has a threat to run, I should say, and we'll see it a little bit. They made a conscious effort to try to get Will Howard running. But watch this linebacker here. He's supposed to be, if this was a statuesque quarterback, if this was me back there, this linebacker is filling this hole right now. and he's making a play. He was trying to make a play there at the line of scrimmage. However, he's got to respect Will Howard's ability to pull this thing. And Will does a nice job of carrying his fake out, and it freezes. Watch it freeze this linebacker right there, right where it's one step. Instead of being in the hole and just being in Travion's way, he's now out of the hole, and he's trying to arm tackle 32. Good luck trying to do that. No one's ever going to do that. All right, here we go. Now we're moving. A little tight end act. A little tight end love for you here, Kev. We get Will Kazmarek into the flat here. This is just a nice play design. This is one where you're just trying to hide this guy. Ohio State, we talked about it, doesn't use their tight ends much. All right, they don't do it. But when they do it, it's big plays because they're really sneaky with it. So they hide him behind, one of our star wide receivers. I believe this is a Mecca, but I could be wrong here. But you're going to send some kind of a crosser this way. And then Will's going to freeze and then just kind of leak out into the flat, and he gets lost right there. Bang. Just too easy. And when you catch that thing and you got nobody within 10 yards of you, that's a nice feeling.
Yep, Willie K right there. I mean, you look at that, if they're in zone, which I think they are because of that motion.
Yep. Look at you. You're learning. And watch here. Here, this is good demeanor too. This is telltale sign. When the cornerbacks will tell you when their butts are to the sidelines and their eyes are to the quarterback, they're in zone. Yep. If they're in man-to-man, right, they're locked on their guy. They're looking right at their guy, and they're going wherever he goes with them. But this corner is in zone posture there. Hey, you're learning, big old lineman. Come on.
And then carrying out that fake, that linebacker gets frozen, and then Willie K tried to deliver a blow there, but just didn't have the leverage, slipped out. It seems like a lot of people were slipping yesterday too. I wonder what the deal was with that.
Yeah. But just a really nice play here. Move the sticks, 2nd and 5. Peyton Manning will talk about it. You watch him tomorrow night on Monday Night Football. The best drives go 1st down, 2nd down, 1st down. That's what Ohio State did. Got 5 on 1st, and then on 2nd down, converted the 1st down, and you're staying ahead of the sticks, moving the chains. All right, this is the one I was talking about last night. I think that out of everything Mecca did yesterday, and we're going to get to all of it, but it's catches like this one where you just kind of move the sticks a little bit, but he makes just a spectacular catch here. This is one that just caught my attention. I don't know why it was this one but he's running his route up the field, and the ball is 3 feet outside of his catch frame. But he just reaches that thing out, and those two paws snag that ball back in there. And it's just an awesome catch.
Oh, it really is. I mean, offensive line sells the run fake pretty well.
And even up front too, Kev. I mean, we talked about how well Iowa's defensive line or how good they are and how well they played yesterday. But up front, look at this. Josh Fryer one-on-one doing a nice job. Up to the top here. I mean, you got everyone just kind of man-to-man and just kind of doing their jobs up front. And then that makes it easy. And then Will misses a little inaccurate, but Mecca makes everything right. And having friends like this, having guys like this on your side make quarterback's life a little bit easier. All right, next up, Quinshon Judkins. This dude, we talked about it last night, ran with authority last night. And this was one of the first ones here, but we just get a little inside zone action. It's 3rd down. Get a little mid zone where you're getting a crack from the tight end coming across the line, and then for Quinshon, it's be your own blocker. Find a way to get that 1st down and move the sticks.
Yep, I mean there's good movement up front here. This is a good teach tempo moment for for G. Scott. If that defensive end goes upfield like that and is shuffling down, you just want to put your shoulder on his inside shoulder, on the inside number on his chest. That's where you want to put that shoulder and then just seal him out, because that's where the cutback is. Now, if that D end is crashing hard, you just want to fit him up and try and drive him upfield so that the cutback then becomes around your butt. So, like, you see a good double team here. I mean, they're playing all the way up. And then if you play it through, keep going a little farther. Yep. So they just move the pile and then get on. I don't know who that is. I think is that Moeglin? That got on that linebacker.
Right here.
A little bit of hold. You see that 3 disappear on the 4, but what are you going to do? You know what? It's the trenches. You're not going to do anything about it. And a great job by Josh Fryer keeping that defensive end out.
Yeah.
Like, there's the hole. I mean, you could drive a Mack truck through that thing.
Yeah.
And then here comes Quinshon just running downhill. He had his shoulder pads over his feet and was falling forward like Travion. They're learning from each other. I love to see that.
Yeah, that's a good point. What's it like, Kevin? I wanted to ask Donovan last night, but what is it like when a offensive line, executes really well right here, right? They're seeing it, everyone blocks it up, and then they look and they see, maybe not on this one specifically, but they look at their running backs, and the running backs are running through guys and finishing really hard. What does that do for an offensive line?
It shows care. I think that's it shows effort. It shows care. It gives you a little added oomph, like, all right, well, if he's going to deliver the blow on these linebackers, he's softening them up too.
Mm-hmm.
I got to carry my half the burden as well, where I got to go out there and level a guy so that when instead of him leveling a linebacker and getting tackled, I level a linebacker, he levels the safety. I pick up the dude's cleats from the ground, hand them back to him while he's running into the end zone. I mean, that's that's what you want, and that's what you kind of get motivated to do right there.
Yeah, and to your point, it's funny you say the word care, but yeah, I mean, offensive linemen, their whole job, their whole livelihood playing football is to make life easier for everybody else. And then when you see guys like this making their life a little bit easier, but also executing and doing their job when the line executes well, has got to be great for those guys up front. So, all right, nice job getting into the high red or the medium red area, and now it's time to execute. Right, let's use our boys to get into the end zone here. The wide receivers call themselves the zone 6, but let's get them there. So, a really nice look here using the run. And Kevin, this was the exact same look. All right, we talk about how Chip Kelly builds plays off of each other. We just run inside zone a couple plays ago with the tight end blocking right here and us hitting it up in here. Well, it's the exact same look. It looks exactly the same as that. So you get this flow from the linebackers. You get a little flow here. So it takes those three guys out of the play. And then your quarterback, Will Howard's athletic enough to just get off on the move here and deliver a perfect throw right to a Mecca. I mean, that was awesome. That's one of his better throws that we've seen him make. It wasn't the most explosive thing, not the deepest one, but this is accurate as heck. And Mecca makes a really nice play to pay it all off.
Mm-hmm. And what people are going to say is, he had JJ as well, but he really didn't because that DB was right there. If you throw that short to JJ, the DB's there, he's probably getting the first down, but those under routes, you're going to throw a wild pass to get it over those linebackers into the hands of JJ. He's like, all right, I'll just give it to my staple, my tried and true, senior wide receiver out there, see if he can make a play. Worst comes to worst, the first down. Best thing that happens is a touchdown there.
Yeah. This triangle here is a tough one to throw into there. Yeah. So I love the decision, one-on-one. And truth be told, like, Mecca's not wide open here. He's not, you trust that your guys are open when it's a one-on-one scenario, but this is solid coverage. But Mecca's going to make that catch 9 out of 10 times. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So Ohio State takes the lead. You feel good. But one thing that you just want to look at, right? Look right here. There's 2 minutes left in the first quarter. There's been 2 drives, right? Iowa converts a couple third downs. They flip it over to Ohio State. They force Ohio State to go for a really long drive to try to push one in, and they do. But that takes a lot of time off the clock. So Iowa gets the football back, and now I think that this play was really nice. It was good on both sides. One of the things that's been I'd say the early criticism of Jim Knowles' defense to this point in this year has been very vanilla, right? We haven't seen a lot of exotics, and I haven't seen a lot of blitzes. He's just been able to kind of line up and let his guys go. But this blitz here caught my attention yesterday, and it's good to show now because they got 4 down linemen. Okay, so this guy started down linemen. So you got 1, 2, 3, and 4 here, and then you walk these 2 linebackers up. So when you're looking at this as a quarterback, you're like, all right, I'm getting some kind of a blitz. I just don't know where it's coming from. And your thoughts are that either this linebacker right there, bad square, or that one right there are going to blitz. Instead, they fly out, drop out, and then you get blitz from the slot. Okay. Mm-hmm. Why that's really tough is, and as an offensive line, you ID the guys you're going to pick up. All right. They call this a simulated pressure. Ohio State ends up only bringing 4 guys, but they looked like they were going to bring 6. The line accounted for these. Well, the interior, I'm not sure, obviously, their communication on it, but they accounted for those guys on the right side of the line. And then you just bring this extra one way off the edge here, and it just confuses everybody. This is a really nice blitz. It was almost got home. If this guy was lined up here, this offensive guy was there instead of on the hash, I think this thing gets home. But instead, it's a long run, and Cade has to stand in there and give him credit. Stands in there, stares down the barrel of the gun, and delivers one down the middle.
Yeah, I think that this is a blunder by Iowa, too. If you go to the very top of the play, I mean, who's coming here? I mean, you have a stacked safety. You have a stacked safety over a slot receiver.
Yep.
Other side of the field, you have a safety probably on the numbers covering the other guy on the numbers right there. And by the time the ball snapped, he's running this way. This slot receiver should run pointing at this cornerback to help his O-line first. This running back should have seen – I mean, just looking at it objectively, you're standing there waiting for the ball to be snapped. Scan it. I mean, where you got pressure coming, that linebacker's covering you. That safety's covering the guy below the 3. Corner's covering the guy above the 3. The only place of pressure could be is either that linebacker just in front of the referee, or this slot corner. You got to flip the protection here, and that's just what it is. You need to slide to it, and they slide the wrong way yet again, and that's just where this is an avoidable hit on the quarterback.
So go back to the first thing you said here. What's the dead giveaway? There's one, and you said it. What's the dead giveaway here?
The dead giveaway here is if you're looking at a defense, it's the stack safety. So when you're seeing where a blitz will come, whether it be from a linebacker, whether it be from a defensive back, you'll see a safety stacked over the guy who's coming because they're covering the guy who, especially in a man blitz, they're covering the guy who is, I think this might be a zone blitz, but I'm not 100% sure. They're covering the guy who the blitzer is supposed to cover. Mm-hmm. So that safety's responsibility is to fill that gap, whether it be a zone or whether it be man, where that blitzer was. So when they're stacked like that, you'll see it on almost every blitz. You'll see the safety covering for the guy in the event that it's a pass. Mm-hmm. And that's where it is. You always look, as we always taught, is when we're tackles, because we got to make the out calls. You look for that stacked safety, look out and be like, all right, well, there's the safety, there's that linebacker, and there's 2 guys covering one guy. That's not happening.
If it smells fishy, yep. If it smells fishy, it is fishy, right? They're not going to just you're not going to just abandon somebody. But they don't they don't catch it. They don't flip the protection, and the result is a big hit on your quarterback. But Ohio State, you'd like to see this not be as wide open, but they'll figure that out as they continue to work through it. And move it there. But a nice third down. And again, it just extends these drive. When Iowa extends the drive, it shortens the football game. So nice one there. Very next set of downs, they're in another third down. And this one's a little bit different. We're going to use motion to kind of fly across the screen. And they're just going to bring their receiver in tight like that, and then run just a little hook out to the flat here. He shuts it down. Nice timing. And again, they're just moving the sticks. This is why it's so frustrating to play Iowa. They're not going to blow the top off, but they're going to move the chains and shorten the football game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is a good one here. The gray shirts were rallying, right? They had enough of these darn third downs being converted, all right? So another 3rd and 4, 2 minutes in already to the second quarter. And this time Ohio State's defenders, the second level, says no way. They complete it and then rally to the football. That's something Ohio State does really, really well. Look how many guys are around the football. I'll give Davison credit. There's 1, there's 2, there's a guy on it, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got 7 guys swarming the football. And when that happens, good things happen.
Absolutely. If you go back to if you go to here, I mean, there's another 78 again with a great punch on, I think it's JTT, and he falls down. I don't know what it was that everybody was slipping, whether it be Will Howard, whether it be a Mecca, whether it be our D lineman, but that's what I mean. That this 78 had a great game against one of the best pass rushing defensive ends in college football. I think that just rose his stock for next year very quickly.
Dude, it was funny. I was on the field in pregame, just watching whatever. I love watching warm-ups, and I went down to the Iowa side, and those dudes, like, obviously you were in offensive line room. Everyone's massive, but the Iowa dudes, like, when they talk about like corn-fed guys, like those guys were just massive human beings. It was fun. It was cool to see. But you see the kind of the result of that. They did a nice job stalemating the vaunted Ohio State D-line.
There's another slip right there. Do we need new turf? I mean, what are we doing
need new
here?
turf. I didn't recognize it. It's right where they do the script Ohio. It's so funny when after they do it in pregame, you can see the line where they start here, and then the band's all walking out through here. So maybe that has something to do with it.
Maybe I don't know. Who knows? Let's go back to grass.
Yeah, back to grass. I'd have that. You'd have my vote. All right. So what happens next is the Iowa punts it away, and Ohio State goes on a little drive. So we skip a little bit of that, but what we come to here is 4th and 2. Now, Kevin, I want to get your perspective on this. It's 4th down and 2. You have 2 of the best running backs in the country, and Ohio State decides we're going to go empty and run our quarterback, and the result is a turnover on downs. What are your thoughts when you see something like this, and what would you have done if you were?
Well, I mean, I think it's a good play call. I think it's interesting to go if I'm doing this, I'm spreading everybody out. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get as few people, maybe one tight end instead of going dual tight end here. But I mean, this play is doomed from the start because it looks like Donovan Jackson's slow out of his stance, and this D tackle beats it. And look, Donovan's feet are stagnant. He's trying to drive. And this is called moving the line of scrimmage. This D lineman moved the line of scrimmage. Will had nowhere to go because if Donovan blows this guy off, this is a good play. But he doesn't. And Will kind of trips over his foot a little bit and then keep playing here. And then this defense lineman grabs him, and that's the play. Mm-hmm. Like that play is going to be why Donovan Jackson might not grade out as a champion for this game, because that's just slow off the ball. It's 4th and 2. You got to be quick off the ball. Maybe he didn't remember the snap count, but that D lineman is what I'm talking about. He made the play on that down, and that's where, like, look, the whole offensive line, no one's really off the ball. No one's there. Maybe 1 yard. You want to drive guys 2 yards off the ball, especially if you're 4th and 2. Yeah. The only person who's passed the first down marker is Seth, but it's because he was double teaming. Yeah. He didn't really give much help, but he went right up to that linebacker and then kind of missed the linebacker, and then.
This is really interesting. So Donovan talked about this in his post-game presser, and I'd like to have your kind of perspective on it. But he talked about Iowa using they call it, and you know this, they call it the 2-gapping technique, where they kind of freeze you, and then they try to wherever the ball goes, they can kind of go. And you need really good defensive linemen to do this. This isn't something that you just can roll out of bed and do. You got to be strong and smart, but you can kind of see a really good example here where the defensive lineman freezes Donovan and then kind of throws him off. Hey, Will's going to my right. I'm just going to throw him out this way and do that. Is that a hard technique to combat against, or what is kind of your thoughts when you come into a game? You're like, all right, the defensive line is going to be 2-gapping this week. What do we have to do to execute still?
It's really hard to do it in zone blocking. You want to run a lot of gap schemes against this, because if they're going to two-way, you know what gap the ball's going in. Mm. So you want to knock them out of that gap. If they're going to go two-way, knock them out of one, run through the other, and that's where it comes. If you were to do it, if you go to the top of the play and you want Seth to hip block, you knock their hip. If you're double teaming and you knock their hip, they're going to fall into a gap. Mm-hmm. But watch, if he knocks this guy's hip to the left and then climbs up to the linebacker, the other defensive tackle is 2-gapping as well, and he falls right into that gap. Mm-hmm. The only way is either tell your running backs in the zone and zone blocking to be patient, or just run gap scheme plays. Those are the only 2 ways to really beat that 2-way go, unless you're going to pancake the guy and drive him off the ball, because it doesn't matter if you do a 2-way go 3 yards down the field, but against these corn-fed guys, it's not going to happen.
Is that something that that other teams can watch and be like, hey, this week we're going to implement using a 2-gap look? Or is that just, hey, Iowa's 2 defensive linemen are very good and they can do that, so they allow their whole defense to do that?
The answer is yes. That you can try to implement it, but if your guy isn't good enough, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Whereas Iowa is good enough to do that. And some of these teams we play later in the year will have defensive line that are good enough to do it. And maybe that's why we weren't showing it against Iowa, because we knew we could beat them over the top and stuff like that. But I think that, when you're playing very talented defensive linemen, you want gap scheme plays to be able to create those holes that you need for the running backs to run through. That's kind of where gap scheme comes in. Powers, counters, those kind of plays.
Yeah, and it was really interesting to hear him talk about it so check that video out. It was good to hear. So all right, 3rd and 11 after the turnover. This was a funny sequence. I put this in here because I had my jaw on the floor when it happened. So we get a nice completion, good blitz up front, decent pressure actually. They kind of press the pocket, and Cates kind of stands in there and delivers a good ball. This was a good throw, good catch, and they get, I'd say, 10.5 yards on this play here. Okay. And it leads us to 4th and inches. All right. And like they come out to punt, and I'm like, there's no way they're punting it. And Ohio State is even like in punt safe. Like this is a bad look to run a fake punt into. And if you're going to fake it, you might as well just keep your offense out there and just go for it in this scenario.
Right.
Like everyone in the state, there's 108,000 people who knew, hey, this is going to be a fake. And they run it. They get it. They get the first down, but Kirk Ferentz called a timeout. And I was like, oh my gosh, they just went through all that just to call a timeout.
Well, I think he saw, I don't know if you can go all the way back, but I think they check to punt safe because looking at that, I mean, just looking, that looks like a formation minus the quarterback. Like, and I think Ferentz knew that, so he was trying to call the timeout so he could. I mean, look at the guy at the 50.
Yeah,
he looks like he just got done running right here at the numbers at the bottom. It looks like he just got done running gassers. Like what is he? He's going down to run to go kill somebody on a punt? Not a chance.
Yeah, right. And then their actual punt formation is like right here. Like
that's what I was going to say.
These are like back there. So it was clearly a fake. Everybody in the stadium knew that it was a fake, and Kurt calls a timeout. I thought it was just I kind of it was funny because called a timeout. They got in the first down, and then they shank a punt. So this is the ensuing play. They flipped the field position like 10 yards. So just a unfortunate sequence there for the guy. So this was the run I talked about last night. I'm just going to run this one from the top. Quinshawn makes a nice juke move and just buries this dude into the ground. This is their best. This guy right here. This is Higgins. This is Jay Higgins. This is the guy we talked about on Tuesday last week. He just takes this Quinshawn takes him and puts him through the turf here. This was a mean physical run.
He does it twice, and this is what I was talking about yesterday. When he gets up and starts flexing, he plants him into the ground like a farmer planting a seed, to relate to Iowa, and then runs through the next guy, puts his shoulder down. Josh does a great job of staying on his block there. I mean, we can talk about Quinshawn all day. But I'm going to give my lineman some credit here. Josh Pryor there, he got beat and just stayed on top of it, and Quinshawn did what I tell you these running backs do. They make their linemen right. And he jukes into that guy, plants him, and then runs through fake Cooper DeJean there and just gets up and starts flexing.
It's amazing. I'd also like to shout out Jeremiah, right? He's we got all the highlight plays, catches things one-handed, but a nice block, a nice effort here. I don't know if the block was executed well, but great effort there to just
try
to get to, stay in the guy's way. Hey, I don't just catch the football. I make plays in the run game too. All right, penthouse to the outhouse for Jeremiah. I just gave him a nice little compliment. This one is one he's gonna want back, and I'm sure he'll never fumble again in an Ohio State uniform because this play set up really nicely. They love running these little screens to him, and I love this. A little fake sprint out to the right. Quarterback, put your foot in the ground, rip one back here. The linemen can just push all their defensive linemen that way and then get out into space. And these are fun blocks for the offensive line. Like these are kill shot type of blocks where they can get out. It's a tackle. Look at this. I mean, you dream of days like this where you get like a cornerback like that and set up really well. Got a nice tunnel for him, but that ball just gets punched out again. Jay Higgins come and make a big play, punches that thing out, and turnover for Ohio State.
Yep. After getting embarrassed the play before. And right here, when you're Donovan, just smack that ball out of bounds. You're not used to getting that low. Knee braces don't give you the normal bend you get so that you can naturally play that. You just got to punch that thing out of bounds there and live to fight another day because that's an example of, all right, maybe I'll get it. But the other thing is you're down the bottom of that pile. People are grabbing at you. People are twisting stuff, your ankles, your hands, everything. You're not used to that. Like running backs, wide receivers, they're used to that kind of stuff. You're not, and you just got to knock that ball out and be like, all right, Now I get a 5-minute break while they decide if it's a penalty or not, and then I get back out there and keep playing.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear you say that last night. I thought that was really good perspective. Like, dude, just flip that thing right out of bounds and live to fight. But for Ohio State, that's your second turnover of the half, right? You had the fourth down where you don't get it, and then you fumble here in plus territory. So, again, just Iowa shrinking the football game, shrinking it down, making it really challenging. Okay. Another third down conversion. I thought Iowa lived in third and medium all day, and they did a nice job in third and medium. And I think Cade here does a nice job moving in the pocket. They get a little pressure, but slides in there and has a nice completion down the middle of the field. This is one where if I'm Ohio State, there were some things in the first half that I didn't like from the offense. And if I were the defense, I'd say third down converting on third down needs to be much, much improved here, going forward, because this will come back to bite in the future.
Yep, I agree. And that, for how good the left tackle was playing, right tackle just absolutely abysmal pass set there. When your feet click like you're Dorothy trying to get home, you're going to get beat no matter what you're doing. Right there, you have 2 feet in the air looking like a leprechaun doing a jig, and you have Jack Sawyer rushing you. I mean, I don't know what you want to do there other than maybe hold. I mean, then he falls down. I've been caught there. Trust me, I've been caught there multiple times. It's not fun, and that's just the reality of the situation.
It's a bad place to be in. But Cade stands in there, does a nice job, moves the sticks. Again, that's like 4 or 5 nice third down conversions that they've had. So Ohio State says no more sitting in zone. We get third and medium again, 3rd and 6. And Ohio State dials one up. We get a flyer in on this blitz right here. Does a really nice job. And Ohio State says, screw this zone stuff. We're just going to man you guys up because our athletes are better than yours. And everybody is covered down the field. A nice blitz up the center, and everything's covered up. Lathan in coverage. Everyone does a really nice job on that play to force yet another punt.
Yep.
All right, last one here of the first half. This one is one Will's going to want back. That's just the way it is. He talks about it, and he talks about being, protecting the ball, keeping it safe. But you could tell on yesterday, that he was trying to push the ball down the field a little bit more, like a little bit more push down the field. And this was one example of it where he's going to try to find a Mecca down the sidelines. This needed to be a perfect throw. He has the ability to do that, but you leave it a little bit short, and against better teams, he hit this same exact kind of throw against Western Michigan a couple weeks back to Brandon, but misses this one here and just, hey, going to want this one back. It's not the end of the world, but your third turnover of the half. It's going to be really hard to score when you turn the ball over 3 times.
Yep, and people cite the pressure on that one. That's a hard twist to pick up there. I mean, Donovan Jackson.
That's like a
sliding. You got that thing. You don't want to leave that defensive lineman until you know that the center's got him secured. And by the time he knows he's got him secured, you got that fast defensive end coming all the way around at full speed. That's a tough twist to pick up there.
Yeah. So for you hear the word twist every week. You're going to hear it a bunch today, but this is what a twist is. The defensive lineman, the 2 interior guys, and they can do it in different ways, but go a couple gaps. They go a gap to their left in this scenario, and then they take up these blockers. Think of like when you set picks in basketball. This is what they're doing. They're just picking these guys and forcing the O-line to communicate 4 guys down. Like the tight end has to communicate to the tackle that it's coming, who has to communicate to the guard that's coming, who has to communicate back here. And that's, like you said, really hard to execute.
Yeah, and they'll work on that. I know they're going to be working on that today.
They're doing it already.
Tuesday.
All right, this is one I wanted to show for viewing fun. This is the last play of the half. Caleb Johnson, we all heard what he said. I'm just going to let this one run out. Gets the carry. Sonny had some thoughts for him. Here we go. Bang. Yeah, nice half, dude. I'm here all day. Here all day long. Here,
both of them. I don't know who else was on them too.
Yeah, there are a lot of guys on it, but we talked about it being chippy. That was a little bit. He knew it was coming.
Yeah,
what was coming his way. So we flip it into the first half. First half, not great. 4 drives, 3 turnovers, 1 touchdown, and then the avalanche began. And it starts with a nice third down conversion. Fake the handoff it's just a read here. Just a zone read. Will pulls it, does a nice job. We're getting a Mecca down here. We're getting some blocks down low, and he's just got to beat a corner. he does just that. He's 6'5". He's a big dude, man. It's a big human. He's going to be hard to tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice job, especially when you get that corner. Lower your shoulder, move the sticks. Let's go. All right, Now this was just a straight. He comes in a little bit. It was almost like a mini kind of post and go. You don't ever hear that often because you have to be like the fastest human being ever to do that. But Jeremiah does it. Leans a little bit, and Will. I mean, this is probably everything Will's got. I think that's the 45 to the 13. So let's do 37 plus 5, 50 yards, 42 yards ish. So not a huge ball, but it's everything Will had, and he just couldn't quite let Jeremiah run underneath it because Jeremiah's too fast. So like you said, didn't let him score on that one. Let's just play little big brother, little brother in the back of the end zone. That's sick. Just sick.
Look, he pushed him out of frame here. He goes up one hand. It's like catching the ball in the post. All right, got it. And then just extending him. That's my favorite part. See ya. Like, he's just like, all right, little brother. We'll see ya.
You can't hang with me. Look at this.
No, and he, he was yelling, but he's like, he didn't get in that guy's face. He emasculated him by shoving him another 5 yards after that. He doesn't need to go get in his face. Starts flexing, and that's just what grown men do right there. I mean, that's the reality situation. I also want to ask you on that last, not to show it, just a question.
Yeah.
Earlier in the game, Will overthrew JJ when he had a guy beat. Do you think that was in his head a little bit too? He didn't want to overthrow him again.
It's a good question, and one thing that I noticed here is like, the ball should be out like now. Like it should be – I remember watching this, and you can see it from different clips wherever you watch it. But the rule is if he's even, he's leaving, all right? So at this point, you can see the back of Jeremiah's heel. The safety is like 1 yard this way. So it should be – the ball should be coming out here. And you can see him kind of hopping, and he's like super late on it. But that's a really good point by you. It's like, hey, I missed earlier. I'm going to make sure I don't miss this one this time because he's so open that I can just hand it to him. I can't miss this again because it's a big play. So, really good point by you. It was definitely in the back of his mind of like waiting and making sure that he was going to be able to complete it.
Mm-hmm. Double T right there, Josh Simmons right there just bullying a defense lineman too. Love to see that.
There we go.
Knocks him down.
Look at that. Look at that
pile. He's like, look at that pile over there. These D linemen had a tough day in the fast. They had great in run blocking, but tough day in pass rushing.
That pile of dudes there. That's a funny sight. So very nice. Here we go. Throw it up one more time. Highlight reel. Jeremiah, ridiculous. All right. Very next play. All right. 1st and 10 after the big touchdown. Here we go. Defensive line. It's time. Let's go hunt. Jack comes in, strip sack, bang, ball out. This is what Ohio State does to you. When you have superstars everywhere, sure, it was clunky, but we just go right down the field in 2 plays. You come right out, try to like level it out a little bit. No, sir. Our going to be potential All-American defensive end is going to strip sack you and turn the ball over right away.
Yep.
And now you're set up first and 10 from the 20. So you're already in the high red area. One run to Travion, another run to Travion, just powerful.
Yeah,
this one
running through people.
This was interesting here. This clip, I left it in because 0 rushing touchdowns allowed through 4 games. In the season.
I was going to say that.
Mm-hmm. And it's a stout defense. We've seen the defensive line play really, really well. But hey, this Ohio State rushing attack is solid, and they go zone read here, and Will gets to be the first to etch his name into touchdowns that the Hawkeyes have given up.
Absolutely.
Nice. Now, all of a sudden, right, it took forever. It had 4 drives in the first half, right, that we didn't score on. And 7 minutes into the third quarter, you've already scored in 2 drives, and you already have a 21-point lead. At this point, it's over. Iowa doesn't have the offense to score 21 points.
Right.
So at this point, it's like, all right, you're feeling pretty darn good. Left this one in here. Nice. Again, 3rd and long. I mean, this 3rd and intermediate is going to be something that Ohio State coaches, are really harping on this week because they got to get out of these situations. So, but Luke Lachey, I think it's good to show coming back home. Nice little catch here and good finish, right? Good finish. It was cool. His dad was talking about it on the radio, just how cool it was for him to watch this. So really nice. Good conversion. All right. Had to put one on. He did talk all that smack, but he did get a nice little run here. For Cody Simon, this one just hurts. He's lost sleep over this clip and film because this is a tackle for a 3-yard gain, right? Does his job in the hole, is in the right spot, makes the play. But this guy's a good running back, slips out and gets a big gain.
Yep.
Awesome.
Caleb throws him out of bounds.
Caleb throws him out of bounds. Yep,
all right, perfect. This is the play I was most excited about.
Yes. Here we go.
Was I right in giving it?
I don't think so.
No, I wasn't. Who
think
tipped it there?
I think that's either Sonny or Cody. I can't tell, but it definitely comes from linebacker.
It looks like Cody. I think it's Cody just based on how skinny Sonny is on that. Right there. So that's Cody. Okay. I'm still giving it to Ty Hamilton just because I want to. But other thing I want to point out is as we're rushing here on this return, just teach tempo, train D linemen like O linemen. Just use your hands one time there, Jack Sawyer, or look back inside. Don't be looking upfield, and you could box them out, and we got a touchdown.
Right here.
Yep.
Right here.
Just right there. He tries. He gets his hand up there and tries.
Do something. I turned my head away because right here is where I was like, right here, I was like pick 6. I'm like, he's gone. So I turned my head down and then I looked up and it was like 1st and 10 Buckeyes. I'm like, what are you talking about? He scored. Yep. And nope. Caleb did a nice job of pushing him out of bounds. But hey, look at this. Davison lets him know too. Yep.
Oh yeah.
We heard you. We heard you. Awesome play by the defense. And it happens quick, right? 2 turnovers now. Force 2 turnovers. You're playing on our tempo, our speed. Now 4th down. This is a great sequence right here. 4th down, we're going to use the run. We've just run it. Again, we're building off the same look. Inside zone was the look of the week. Obviously, you're going to get that whatever, called a wham block, called a crack block, whatever it is. But it brings down, look, this is the safety right here. This guy plays safety. All right, it's 4th and 3. Look how this influences everything. He's up. And right now, Will's like, uh-oh, this might be a touchdown. He puts it right on Brandon's nose, right on his face mask on 4th down. It's a really nice job into a slant and good.
That's the only way to put it. That is really nice.
It's really well executed. Good play call, good timing of the play call. It gets us to 1st and 10. We take a little loss on 1st down, and then it's the Mecca show. I mean, this throw was great. This catch is insane. This catch is nuts. I mean, this dude, everything.
He did, but that's a phenomenal ball by Will Howard. He puts it over the back shoulder of the DB. DB doesn't know what way is up at this point.
I love it.
And then Emeka just goes up, and it hits him it literally hits Emeka in the chest, and he catches it like he's catching a punt.
Yeah.
It hits his chest, and he catches it and brings it down, gets 2 feet in. It's an NFL touchdown, if people were wondering at home. That's just what it was. It was unreal. And then
so good.
It's just the protection was so good all day. Those are some big, beefy guys up front. And look at Josh Simons up at the top. Mm-hmm. He's got this quick defensive end, and he still made some. Granted, his feet there are not good. I mean, he looks like the number 8, but then he corrects himself, drops that foot back. I'm sorry, Josh Fryer, not Simmons. Josh Fryer at the top. Oop, slips out. But Will knows what he's doing. Gets the ball out. Puts it where only Emeka could catch it over that extension. And I told you they got a lot of deflections on their defensive line. Mm-hmm. And this is another example of it. They just throw their hands up when they know they're beat. Those are the frustrating defensive linemen to block.
You said it. I mean, it was a perfect throw. And the reason it was a perfect throw is, this right here. Anybody, you're just totally comfortable, feel good, and you can deliver a seed, and he does so. And Emeka cashes it out. For number 2, we got 1 left for Emeka. So we'll get to that here. But again, this avalanche that happened was nuts because kicked the ball right off, started the 4th quarter. What are we going to do? A strip sack, right?
That's teach tempo bull rush right there, too. You knock his hands off, get your hands inside. You can see 77's hands. We're inside, and now as you keep it playing, stop it. Look at his – when you have your hands on the defensive lineman's shoulder pads on the outside, you're getting bull rushed. It is the worst feeling in the world because you're like, I don't know what you're just holding on to try and stay upright at that point.
It's
and he just throws
he's about to start free falling, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's a Hamilton, so he's going to be a big boy, and he just launches the guard back, throws his hand up, hits the quarterback. Cade's all upset. Oh man, damn, oh man, darn it, oh man. Grow up.
He doesn't have a fan in you, that's for sure. Nope. Awesome play by the defense, and here we go. Offense, let's cash it out. Everybody, close the book, start the buses, get on the planes. It's over. Mecca, number 3. Good protection up front. Good throw. Not a good throw. Good catch. You'd like to see the ball a little bit out further, but doesn't matter. Put it anywhere within number 2's reach, and if he gets his fingers on it, he's going to bring it down.
I talked about Alex. I talked about Ryan Williams yesterday. His body control. I mean, Emeka's right up there with him, especially on that play. You could see it. He jumped up, came over the top, looked like Noah Brown in Oklahoma, grabbed it, pulled it back. I mean, that was just
awesome.
He had an unbelievable day. That's the only way to phrase it.
Yeah, happy for him. 3 touchdown catches for sure. And just awesome day all around. So for Ohio State, felt good. Got a lot of good stuff there. That second half was fantastic, both on the offensive side and the defensive side of the football. But a lot to get better at. A lot to get better at on defense, and some things to kind of clean up on offense. And it's a big week for it. Heading to Oregon. Once they close the book on this one today, it is full, all systems go on the Oregon Ducks. And for us on our site, we'll have you covered all week long. We'll have our normal shows, Kevin and I, on Tuesday and Thursday. We'll get you set. We got boots on the ground on Saturday out in Eugene. Brennan will be out west on site. So we'll have all of our pregame content for you there from the site. We'll have quick hitters all week long. So excited to bring it all to you. And if you like it, subscribe to your channel. It'll come right to you. You'll get the alert when things are posted. So subscribe to our channel. If you're more into the written stuff, head over to our site, si.com/college/Ohio State, as they also got you covered wall to wall with all things Buckeye. So Kevin, before we get out of here, any final thoughts as we head into to Oregon week?
Yeah. Guardians won yesterday, so big day. But gotta go. Gotta support the guards. So I want to get that in there. I think that, it's going to be a good test for us, and it's going to see if Oregon's really what Oregon said they were going to be. I mean, they dropped a game, so their only way back in is by beating us. So they're going to come with a little bit extra vigor, and that's just what we got coming. Everyone's going to be giving us their best swing every single week, because in a 12-team playoff, you could sneak in with 1 or 2 losses if you beat a team like us, and that's just. It's a reality situation. So you're going up there, and it's not like you're fighting your way up to the championship fight. You started the season against Tyson, and then you're just going against Holyfield, everybody. Like you're just knocking them off one by one. Muhammad Ali, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. They're all going to come at you. Like that's the swings you're getting right there.
I love it. It's awesome. Well, it'll be a fun week. It's going to be everything good about college football is coming down the pipe on Saturday. So excited to bring it to you. 7:30 kick out in Eugene, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific kick out in Eugene, as the Buckeyes will take on the Oregon Ducks. Don't know what they'll be ranked after yesterday's shakeup. Could be a potential top 3 matchup, definitely a top 5 matchup. But regardless, we're excited for you. So thanks for jumping in with us this morning as we get you kicked off and get you set for a full day of NFL. But yeah, appreciate it. And as always, go Bucks.
Go Bucks.